teaching, one lost file can disturb an entire lesson. A lesson plan saved on the wrong computer, a PowerPoint left on a USB drive, an attendance sheet that cannot be found, or a handout that needs to be shared with students at the last moment. These are small technical problems, but they can create real pressure for instructors. That is why digital organization is no longer just an optional skill. For today's instructors, it is a part of professional teaching. In this TTC Digital Teaching series, we are learning practical tools that support lesson preparation, lesson delivery, online teaching, file storage, student communication, and classroom management. Some tools can help us teach live classes, some help us create lesson materials, some help us communicate with students, and some, like OneDrive, help us protect, organize, and manage the files behind our teaching. Today, we begin with Microsoft OneDrive, a tool that helps instructors store teaching files safely, access them from different devices, share materials professionally, and build a more organized teaching workflow. You do not need to be a technical expert to follow this lesson. We will start from the beginning and move step by step. Welcome to Microsoft OneDrive for Instructors. This lesson is part of the TTC Professional Development series on digital teaching. In this video, we will focus on how instructors can use OneDrive for cloud storage, file organization, sharing, security, and classroom workflow. When we say OneDrive for instructors, we do not mean OneDrive only as a storage space. We mean OneDrive as a teaching support system. It can help you keep lesson plans, PowerPoint slides, handouts, attendance sheets, assignments, templates, and training notes in one organized place. By the end of this first part, you should understand what OneDrive is, why it matters for teaching, how to get started, and how to upload, organize, name, move, and find your teaching files. This training is designed for TTC instructors, from beginner to intermediate level. Some instructors may already have used cloud tools before. Others may be opening OneDrive for the first time. Both are completely fine. In this lesson, we will begin with the basic idea of cloud storage, then move into practical steps, signing in, understanding the OneDrive screen, uploading files, creating folders, naming files properly, and finding files quickly. The purpose is simple. By the end of this training, you should feel more confident using OneDrive in your real teaching work. Not just once, but every week, every class, and every time you prepare, share, or collect teaching materials. Before we begin the practical work, let us look at what this training will help you do. First, you will understand cloud storage. This means you will know the difference between saving a file only on your computer and saving it online in a secure cloud account. Second, you will learn how to organize teaching files. This includes creating folders for your classes, using clear file names, and keeping lesson plans, handouts, assignments, and notes in the right place. Third, you will learn how to share files with students and colleagues. Instead of sending the same document many times, you can share one controlled link and decide who can view or edit it. Fourth, you will learn how to protect your account and data. In teaching, files may include student information, grades, class materials, and internal documents, so security and privacy are part of professional responsibility. Fifth, you will learn how to recover lost or edited work. OneDrive includes tools such as version history and the recycle bin, which can help you restore files when something goes wrong. And finally, you will learn how to use OneDrive in a real teaching workflow, preparing lessons, distributing materials, collecting student work, and keeping your class folders clean and organized. So, this is not only a lesson about a Microsoft tool, it is a lesson about teaching more professionally in a digital environment. Let us begin with a real teaching situation. Imagine an instructor prepares a lesson plan and saves it only on one computer. The next morning, the computer does not start. The USB drive is at home. The class begins soon. The lesson is ready, but the instructor cannot reach the file. This situation happens more often than we think. Now, imagine a different situation. The same lesson plan is saved in OneDrive. The instructor can open another computer, sign in, and continue teaching. The file is not locked inside one device. That is one of the biggest benefits of cloud storage. First, it helps protect your work. Your file is not only dependent on one computer. Second, it gives access from different devices, laptop, desktop, phone, or tablet. Third, it makes sharing faster. And instead of sending large attachments or using USB drives, you can share a link. Fourth, it gives you recovery options. If something changes by mistake, you may be able to go back to an earlier version. And fifth, it supports teamwork. Two instructors can work on the same lesson plan or training document without creating many different copies. This is why OneDrive is useful for instructors. It reduces stress, saves time, and makes teaching work more organized. Now, let us define cloud storage in simple words. Every file must be stored somewhere. One common way is local storage. That means the file is saved directly on your computer, phone, or tablet. Another way is external storage, such as a USB drive, memory card, or external hard drive. The third way is cloud storage. This means your file is saved online on secure servers managed by a trusted company, such as Microsoft. When you use cloud storage, your device connects to the internet and sends your file securely to your online account. Later, when you need the file, you sign in and open it from another device. A simple way to understand it is this. Local storage is like keeping your notebook only on one disk. External storage is like carrying that notebook in a bag. Cloud storage is like keeping a secure copy in a protected locker that you can access when you have the key. In OneDrive, that key is your Microsoft account, your email and password. This is why account security matters, and we will discuss that more in part 2. Microsoft OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud storage service. If you have a Microsoft account, OneDrive gives you an online space where you can store documents, PowerPoint presentations, Excel files, PDFs, photos, and other teaching materials. OneDrive works closely with Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. This is useful because many instructors already prepare lessons, handouts, attendance sheets, and presentations using Microsoft tools. For example, you can create a PowerPoint lesson on your laptop, save it in OneDrive, open it later from another computer, share it with colleagues, or even check it from your phone. OneDrive can also keep files updated across devices. If you change a file in one place, the updated version can be available when you open it from another device. Depending on your account, you may have a small amount of free storage, or much more storage through a school, organization, or Microsoft 365 plan. The main idea is this. OneDrive is not only a place to keep files, it is a professional space for managing teaching work. This slide compares two ways of saving files. When you save a file only on your computer, the file lives on one specific device. If that device fails, is lost, or is not with you, the file may become difficult or impossible to access. Sharing is also more limited. You may need to attach the file to an email, copy it to a USB drive, or send it through a messaging app. And if several people need to edit the same file, you may end up with different versions. Final, Final 2, updated, new updated, and so on. With OneDrive, the file is stored in the cloud and can also be available on your devices. If one device fails, the file can still be opened from another device after you sign in. Sharing is also more controlled. You can send a link, choose who can open it, and decide whether they can only view it or also edit it. This comparison is important because OneDrive changes the way we think about teaching files. We are not only saving files, we are managing access, safety, collaboration, and continuity. Now that we understand the purpose of OneDrive, let us move into the first practical section, getting started with OneDrive. In this section, we will cover 4 basic steps. First, how to sign into OneDrive. Second, how to understand the OneDrive interface. Third, how to use the desktop app on Windows or Mac. And fourth, how the mobile app can support your teaching work. For instructors who are new to OneDrive, this section is especially important. Once you understand the basic screen, the rest of the work becomes much easier. The easiest way to begin is through the OneDrive website. First, open a browser. You can use Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Firefox, or another modern browser. Second, go to OneDrive.com. Third, click Sign In. Fourth, enter your Microsoft email address and password. This may be your school account, organization account, or personal Microsoft account. Here is a practical note. Many users forget which email address they used the first time. So when you are setting up OneDrive, write down the correct email address in a safe place. Do not write your password where others can see it, but do keep track of which account you are using. Also, avoid signing in on public or shared computers unless you really need to. If you do use a shared computer, always sign out when you finish. After signing, you will see the OneDrive web interface. Let us quickly understand the main parts of the screen. At the top, you usually see the top bar. This includes the OneDrive logo, search box, account picture, and sometimes settings or help icons. On the left side, you see the sidebar. This helps you move between areas such as My Files, Shared, Recent, Favorites, and Recycle Bin. At the top of the file area, you see the toolbar. This includes common actions such as New, Upload, Share, and Sort. The largest area is the file list. This is where your folders and files appear. You can see file names, modified data, and sometimes sharing status. The search box is also very useful. If your OneDrive becomes full of many documents, you do not need to open every folder manually. You can search for a file by name or sometimes even by words inside the document. For a teacher, this screen becomes your digital filing cabin. OneDrive can also work as a normal folder on your computer. This happens through the OneDrive desktop app. On many Windows computers, OneDrive may already be installed. On Mac, you may need to install it from Microsoft or the Mac App Store, depending on your device setup. After installation, you sign in with the same Microsoft account. Then OneDrive creates a folder on your computer. From that point, anything you save or copy inside the OneDrive folder can sync to the cloud. This is very useful because you do not always need to open the website. You can work with files from your normal computer folder system. But pay attention to these sync icons. A green check usually means the file is available and synced. A blue cloud means the file is online only and may download when you open it. Blue arrows mean the file is currently syncing. A red X means there is a problem, usually internet, storage, account, or file name related. For instructors, one habit is very important. Before class, check that your important lesson files have synced successfully. Do not wait until the class begins to discover that a file is still loading. OneDrive is also available on mobile phones, both Android and iPhone. For instructors, the mobile app is helpful in several situations. You can open a file from your phone when you are away from your computer. You can upload a photo, PDF, or document. You can take a photo of a board, a paper document, or a classroom note and save it directly to OneDrive. You can share a link quickly with a colleague. You can also mark important files for offline access, so they are available even when the internet is weak. This does not mean you should do all teaching work from a phone. A computer is still better for preparing lessons and organizing many files. But the mobile app is useful as a support tool. It gives you access when you are moving, traveling, or working away from your main computer. Now we move to section 2, working with files and folders. This is where OneDrive becomes practical. In this section, we will learn how to upload files, create folders, name files clearly, move and delete files, and find files quickly. For instructors, this section is very important because teaching produces many files: lesson plans, slides, handouts, attendance sheets, quizzes, student work, feedback documents, and training notes. If those files are not organized, OneDrive can become just another messy storage place. But if you use it properly, it becomes a professional teaching workspace. There are 3 common ways to upload files to OneDrive. The first method is the upload button. You open OneDrive in the browser, click upload, and choose a file or folder from your computer. The second method is drag and drop. You open OneDrive and your file folder side by side. Then drag the file into the OneDrive page. The third method is the OneDrive folder. If the desktop app is installed, you copy or save a file into the OneDrive folder on your computer, and it syncs automatically. All 3 methods can work. You do not need to memorize all of them at once. Start with the method that feels easiest, then gradually use the others. For most beginners, the upload button is the clearest method. For people who are comfortable using computer folders, drag and drop is fast. For daily teaching work, the OneDrive folder is often the most convenient. Let us begin with method 1, using the upload button. This is usually the easiest method for new users because everything happens inside the OneDrive website. First, open OneDrive in your browser and make sure you are in My Files or inside the folder where you want to upload your file. Then look at the toolbar near the top of the page. You will see the upload button. When you click upload, OneDrive may give you 2 choices: files or folders. Choose files if you want to upload one document, one PowerPoint, one PDF, one image, or several selected files. Choose folder if you want to upload a whole folder with the files inside it. After that, your computer opens a file picker window. On Windows, this appears through File Explorer. On Mac, it appears through Finder. Select the file you want to upload. For example, in our demonstration, we use a sample file called TTC test file.docs. Then click Open. After a few seconds, the file should appear in OneDrive. Wait until the upload is complete. If you see a green check or success indicator, that usually means the file has uploaded successfully. For instructors, this method is useful when you have prepared a lesson plan, a PowerPoint, or a handout on your computer and want to place it inside your OneDrive teaching folder. The second method is drag and drop. This method is very visual and simple once you practice it. Open OneDrive in your browser, then open the folder on your computer where your file is saved. On Windows, this is usually File Explorer. On Mac, this is Finder. Place the two windows side by side, OneDrive on one side and your file folder on the other side. Now click and hold the file you want to upload. Drag it across the screen and drop it onto the OneDrive page. When OneDrive detects the file, it will upload it into the current folder. In our example, we dragged the file TTC test file.docs from the computer folder into OneDrive. This method is useful when you want to upload quickly without going through the upload button and file picker. You can also drag and drop more than one file at the same time. In some cases, you can drag an entire folder, but when you are still learning, start with one file first. That makes it easier to see what is happening. After dropping the file, wait until it appears in OneDrive and the upload is complete. The third method is using the OneDrive folder on your computer. This method works when the OneDrive desktop app is installed and signed in. After setup, OneDrive appears like a normal folder on your computer. On Windows, you can open it from File Explorer. On Mac, you can open it from Finder. When you save or copy a file into that OneDrive folder, the file uploads to the cloud automatically in the background. This is powerful because you can work almost the same way you normally work with computer folders, but your files are also connected to OneDrive. For example, if you are preparing a lesson plan in Word, you can save it directly inside your OneDrive teaching folder. You do not need to upload it later manually. But there is one important point. Always watch the sync status. A green check means the file is synced. Blue arrows means it is still syncing. A blue cloud means it may be online only. A red X means there is a problem. Before teaching, especially before opening slides or handouts in class, make sure your files are fully synced. This method is excellent for daily teaching because it quickly keeps your files updated in the background. Uploading files is only the first step. The next step is organizing them. If you upload everything into one place without folders, OneDrive will become confusing very quickly. A professional instructor should use folders. To create a folder, sign in to OneDrive, click New, choose Folder, type a clear name, and click Create. A good instructor might begin with a main folder like TTC Teaching. Inside that, you can create folders for each class such as Class A, Class B, shared with colleagues, my training and notes. Inside each class folder, you can create subfolders for lesson plans, handouts, student submissions, quizzes, and other materials. The goal is to know exactly where each file belongs. A simple rule: one class, one main folder. Do not mix multiple classes in the same folder unless there is a clear reason. Good folder structure saves time and reduces mistakes. Now let us talk about file names. Good file names save time. Bad file names create confusion. Names like Document 1, United, Final, or Homework do not tell you enough. A good file name should answer 3 questions. What class is this for? What type of file is this? What topic, unit, date, or version does it belong to? For example, Class A, Lesson Plan, Unit 2, Lesson 3.docs. This name is clear. You know the class, the type of file, the unit, and the lesson. Another example, Class B, Handout, Reading, 2026, 215.pdf. This tells you the class, the material type, the topic, and the date. Use a consistent pattern. In this slide, the pattern is class, type, topic, and date. You can use hyphens or underscores between words. The important point is consistency. Also, when you use dates, use the format year, month, day. For example, 2026 to 15. This helps files sort correctly. For instructors, file naming is not a small detail. It is a part of professional teaching organization. Once your files are in OneDrive, you need to manage them. There are 4 basic actions every instructor should know: move, copy, rename, and delete. Use move when a file belongs in another folder. For example, if a handout is accidentally saved in lesson plans, move it to handouts. Use copy when you need a duplicate. For example, you may copy a quiz and adjust it for another class. Use rename when the file name is unclear or no longer matches the content. Use delete when the file is no longer needed. But remember, deleting a file does not always mean it disappears immediately. Deleted files usually go to recycle bin first, which we will discuss in part 2. In OneDrive, you can usually right-click a file or select it and use the toolbar at the top. For teaching work, these small actions help keep your folders clean and useful. As your OneDrive grows, search and sort become very important. You may have hundreds of files after one term: lesson plans, slides, attendance sheets, quizzes, student submissions, and notes. And instead of opening every folder, use search box. You can search by file name, for example, type Class A Lesson 3. In many cases, OneDrive can also search inside Word or PowerPoint files, which helps when you remember a topic but not the exact file name. You can also use the slide bar. Recent helps you find files you opened recently. Shared helps you find files shared with you. Favorites can help you mark important files you use often. Sorting is also useful. Sort by name when your file names follow a clear pattern. Sort by modified date when you want to see the newest files. Sort by file type when you want only Word documents, PDFs, images, or slides. This is why naming and organizing files matters. Search works much better when your files are named clearly. This brings us to the end of part 1. In this video, we learned what cloud storage is, what OneDrive is, why it matters for instructors, how to sign in, how to understand the OneDrive interface, and how to work with files and folders. We also practiced 3 upload methods: the upload button, drag and drop, and the OneDrive desktop app. Then we looked at folder structure, file naming, basic file actions, and search. These may look like simple technical steps, but together they create a professional teaching system. When your files are safe, organized, and easy to find, your teaching becomes smoother. You spend less time searching and more time preparing, teaching, and supporting students. In part 2, we will continue with the next important skills: sharing files, choosing the right permissions, collaborating with colleagues, protecting student information, recovering deleted files, and building a computer teaching workflow with OneDrive. Thank you for watching part 1. Please continue with part 2 to complete this OneDrive training.